Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Salam kebajikan, namo budaya. Today, I stand before you as an advocate for a groundbreaking shift in our educational system, one that challenges the status quo and calls for the abolition of primary and middle school years that group children solely by age. This entrenched system assumes that if some children have not progressed as expected, they have failed, rather than acknowledging that the system itself has failed to meet their unique needs. Our advocacy is clear. We firmly believe that multi-age groupings provide a more equitable system, one that embraces the developmental and individual differences among children. Multi-age groupings resemble a family unit, where there is a natural heterogeneity in age. In these groups, it is not assumed that all children will function, perform, or develop alike. Instead, they are encouraged to grow and learn at their own pace, free from pressure of age-based expectations. This approach aligns with the belief that children are not uniform in their development. Some may excel in certain areas while needing additional support in others. It's unjust to pigeonhole them solely based on their age. It is a place where it is not assumed that all children will function, perform, or develop alike, but rather where they are encouraged to grow and learn at their own pace. NAEYC, in its 1987 report, made a resounding declaration: rigid adherence to chronological age or grade groupings is inappropriate. It argued that developmentally appropriate schools are flexible in how they group children. They emphasized that alternative groupings provide a vehicle for preserving heterogeneous groups while also providing more time for children to develop at their own pace. This flexibility is the cornerstone of our proposal. Furthermore, consider the benefits of grouping gifted students by ability or interest. This approach enhances motivation and engagement, fosters critical thinking and creativity, promotes self-esteem and identity formation, and facilitates peer relationships and collaboration. By nurturing these students' unique talents, we are not only enriching their lives, but also tap into their potential to drive innovation and progress in our society. Mixed age grouping goes beyond academics. It instills values of empathy, patience, and tolerance in older children towards their younger peers. It offers them the chance to develop desirable early experiences in nurturing skills that underlie parenting and helping others who are different from oneself. These life skills are invaluable in building a compassionate and cohesive society. Moreover, the current age-based grouping system often stifles the growth of exceptionally bright students. These children, who are academically mature for their age, can be hindered by having to adhere to their age group's learning pace. This is a disservice to their potential. By grouping students based on competency and intelligence, we allow them to learn from peers who share their level of understanding and interests, catalyzing their intellectual growth. Now, let's address some common questions and concerns. The first one is the emotional maturity. Some of the people may be asking, like, are intellectually advanced children emotionally mature enough to cope socially when placed in higher level groups, or are intellectually advanced kids emotionally mature enough to cope socially when they are jumped up levels? The answer is no. Research suggests that emotional maturity in children correlates more closely with their intellectual abilities than their chronological age. Placing them with like-minded peers can provide the emotional support they need. Emotional maturity in kids tends to be correlated with their intellectual ability rather than their chronological age. A kid who is 6 but is more like an 8-year-old in the way she thinks is probably more like a 7 or 8-year-old in the way she feels. Just like with the intellectually disabled kids, a kid who is 10 but thinks like an 8-year-old generally feels more like an 8 years old. With kids, the way they think, the self-talk, and they feel are very closely correlated, much more so that how it is in adulthood. The second one is reception by the older peers. Their reception by an older peer group largely depends on how the older kids have been prepared by the school for the arrival of younger kids in their midst. I'm talking about this because some of the people might asking like, are the younger kids will get bullied? The answer is also no. Their reception by an older peer group largely depends on how the older kids have been prepared by the school for the arrival of younger kids in their midst. What many schools do is give the younger child visiting rights in the older classroom for a few weeks. Say, you've got a year 5 class and there's gonna be a year 4 kid, a younger kid, coming up for be in that class. What the school often does is say, okay, the younger child will visit the older class on Fridays. Then when the older class adjusts to that, they say, okay, what if we have ASAP with us on Thursdays and Fridays, rather than just Fridays, and the older kids say, okay, why not? It's a psychology of getting the older class to adjust to the younger child that gets rid of the danger of bullying. We do it, or the schools are often doing it in sports teams. A child who has greater aptitude in sport can be playing with the older kids. And after the first surprise of, oh, there's a younger kid here, they see how well she can play and it's no big deal. It's exactly the same with the academics. If the older kids see that the younger kid isn't going to slow things down and be useless, they'll say, okay, that's no big deal. Because intelligence is strongly corresponding to their emotional intelligence. How will older students react to younger peers joining their classes? Schools can implement a gradual integration approach, allowing older students to become accustomed to their younger counterparts. This fosters acceptance and minimizes the risk of bullying. Moreover, grouping gifted students by ability or interests can have numerous positive effects. It enhances motivation, fosters critical thinking, promotes self-esteem, and facilitates peer relationships and collaboration. By grouping students based on their competency and interests, we create an environment where each child can thrive and reach their full potential. In a mixed age setting, gifted students can be challenged by their peers and mentors, leading to accelerated growth and a deeper love for learning. Mixed age grouping also has benefits beyond academics. It provides older children with the opportunity to be helpful, patient, and tolerant of younger peers' competencies. This fosters empathy and nurtures the valuable life skills of nurturing and helping others who are different from oneself. The bonds formed in this mixed age classroom can last a lifetime, promoting a sense of community and belonging. In conclusion, it's time to treat students as individuals with unique strengths and weaknesses rather than forcing them into a one-size-fits-all grade system. Abolishing primary and middle school years that group children solely by age is a step towards a more equitable, inclusive, and nurturing educational system. Let's embrace this transformative change to unlock the true potential of every child and build a brighter future for our society. Thank you.